play a video game and walk up to a character who just repeats the same 2 lines over and over again? You know, a non-player character, an NPC. Well, for a long time, that's kind of how we've been interacting with AI. But what if that NPC could suddenly leave its post, actually understand your goals, and start completing quests for you, all in the background? That's the huge leap we're talking about today, going from these passive NPCs to fully autonomous AI agents, your own personal shadow soldiers. Okay, let's get into it.
Look, it's a totally fair question, and probably the first thing that pops into your head. I mean, we've all been blown away by what models like ChatGPT can do, but an AI agent, it's a fundamental level up. Think of it like this. It's the difference between an AI that can write a brilliant email for you and an AI that can write it, format it, come up with a clever subject line, and then actually send it, all on its own.
So here's our quest log for today. We're going to start with the AI we all know, then level up to these autonomous agents. We'll peek under the hood at their command loop and their core stats, figure out how to assemble them into a full-on army, and then take a look at the future of this whole game-changing technology.
All right, first things first, let's set the baseline. Think of the standard AI models like ChatGPT as these incredibly smart but, passive NPCs. They have this massive brain, they can answer just about any question you throw at them, but they're purely reactive. They just wait for your command and can't do anything outside of that little conversation window. This slide really just nails the core difference, doesn't it? On one side, you have AI models. They're the brains that think. They're fantastic at generating ideas, writing text, creating code. But then you got AI agents. They're the brains with hands that act. They take all that intelligence and actually connect it to the digital world, giving it the power to execute tasks. It's really about turning thought into action.
So how do we make that jump from being a thinker to a doer?
Well, the key ingredient, the secret sauce, is autonomy.
An AI agent, our shadow soldier, is defined by its ability to operate independently to achieve a goal that you've set for it without needing you to hold its hand and give it step-by-step instructions.
And here we have the more official definition of agentic AI. The most important part to remember here is that these systems are goal-oriented. You don't tell them how to do something, you just tell them what you want to achieve. They're the ones that have to figure out the steps, make the decisions, and see it through. The whole focus shifts from just creating stuff to actually making decisions. Now, this autonomy isn't just some kind of magic. It's powered by a core mechanism, this continuous loop that lets the agent think, act, and learn from what's going on around it. You can think of yourself as the monarch. You give a high-level command, and the agent kicks off this powerful internal cycle to get it done. This cycle is often called the react pattern, which, you guessed it, stands for reason plus act. So first, the agent reasons. It looks at your goal, analyzes the situation, and forms a thought about what it should do next. Then it acts, using a tool, maybe a web search or calling an API, to execute that step. And finally, it observes the outcome. Did it work? Did it get an error? That observation feeds right back into the next reason cycle, letting it adapt and adjust until your goal is complete.
So what's an AI agent really made of? If we were to pull up its character sheet, so to speak, we'd see a few key stats that define its capabilities. This is how we build our shadow soldier from the ground up.
First up, the most obvious stat, the brain. This is the core large language model, the engine that drives that whole React loop we just talked about. It's the source of the agent's intelligence, letting it understand your commands, reason through complex problems, and make those crucial strategic decisions. Next, and this is absolutely critical, are the hands. A brain is pretty useless if it can't interact with the world, right? This stat represents the agent's ability to use tools. Sometimes you'll hear this called function calling. It can be anything from calling a weather API to searching a database to connecting to your calendar. This is what lets an agent break out of that chat window and perform real actions in the world. And the final core stat is memory. Unlike a standard chatbot that basically gets amnesia the moment you close the conversation, an agent needs persistent memory. This is what lets it learn from past successes and failures, remember your preferences, and build up knowledge over time, getting smarter and more effective with every single task. And this long-term memory is actually pretty sophisticated. It's made up of 3 tiers. You've got episodic memory, which answers what happened before. It remembers specific things, like that a task failed last week. Then there's semantic memory, which answers what do I know? This is where it stores general facts and rules. And finally, procedural memory, which answers how do I do this? This automates skills it's already mastered, so it doesn't have to figure things out from scratch every single time.
Okay, so a single shadow soldier is powerful, for sure.
But for the really complex missions, you don't send in just one soldier. You send a coordinated army. This is where we scale up from a single AI agent to a whole system of multiple agents, all working together.
The idea here is really simple, but it's also profound. An agentic workflow isn't just one giant agent trying to do everything at once. It's an orchestrated process that coordinates multiple specialized agents. So you might have one agent that's a research specialist, another that's a pro at writing code, and a third that handles quality control, all working together in perfect sync.
And this table just lays out the practical differences brilliantly. A single agent can be kind of a black box. It's super adaptive, yeah, but also unpredictable and can be a real headache to debug. An agentic workflow, or shadow army, is modular and totally traceable. It gives you structure, guardrails, even human checkpoints, which gives you the control and reliability you need for those really high-stakes, complicated tasks.
So what does all this add up to? Well, we're moving away from this sort of command and response relationship with technology. We're really entering an era of delegation, where we act as the monarch, setting the goals for these autonomous agents that go out and work for us.
This quote really captures the heart of this whole shift. This isn't science fiction. These systems are being used right now to automate all kinds of digital work, from summarizing your inbox to managing incredibly complex business processes. They are literally designed to act, to automate, and to take that load off your shoulders so you can focus on more creative, strategic work. Ultimately, AI agents represent a whole new set of tools, or maybe a whole new set of teammates. They have the potential to handle all of those tedious, repetitive digital tasks that eat up our days. And that brings us to the final question. With this kind of power at your fingertips, what's the first mission you'd give your agent?